Welcome back to Adulthood, friends. This is the discussion-based podcast where two former childhood acquaintances, now friends, discuss the things that
honestly
matter. Oh, that's a good adverb.
Eh?
And that's your
honestly, that's your adverb of the week.
Okay. You were too full of like self-congratulations to say your next line. That's great.
That's right.
Yeah, the things that honestly matter. And I'm Aya.
I'm Josh.
Today, for episode 36, we're going to be talking about lying. So, is it ever okay to lie? If so, when? Can you tell when someone is lying? Do people often lie to you, Josh?
You're asking me right now.
Well, no, I'm not asking you yet. I guess we'll talk about it.
You got to think up a lie.
Yeah. So, anything to add to that, Josh?
Just that we should totally get into it.
And we're back. Oh, it feels so good to be back. I took your line.
What? You took my line? No, it doesn't feel so good to be back anymore.
Sorry. I know theft is.
I think I was actually going to forget this time, and then you reminded me. So thanks.
Man, and I hate that line so much.
Do you even know why you hate it?
No.
Does it feel like because it's not true? Does it feel a little bit like a lie?
Yeah, I think because it is a lie. Because nobody left. We didn't leave. Yeah, it is a lie. You're lying to me and yourself and our listeners.
Yeah, but what if I'm not talking about coming back after the music, but just in general, it's good to be back with you?
Oh, that's nice. I never interpreted it that way.
But when you do interpret it that way, it's much easier to digest.
Yeah, but the way that you say it never suggests it's that way. You always say it in kind of like a jokey, oh, it's so good to be back. It's like, okay, Josh, the joke was barely funny the first time.
You did say, and we're back yourself.
Yeah, but you don't, I feel like your intention is not to be like, it's really nice to be back with you, Aya. And it's really just, oh, it's so good to be back.
Wait, what's your intention when you say, and we're back?
It's to say we're back.
Back from what?
From the fake pause that we had. I don't know. I don't know what else to say when we come back. Well, what should I say? What's better than, and we're back?
No, I think it's fine. I just think you're being a bit of a hypocrite.
No, I think mine is just and we're back. It's like a normal way to start. And you just say, oh, it's so good to be back every time.
Maybe I'm commenting a little bit on the ridiculousness of saying, and we're back every time.
Yeah, but the way that you're commenting on the ridiculousness is itself ridiculous. So
yes, that's the best way to do it.
But not in like you know what? Fine.
You want to go?
I quit. Yeah. I quit.
Bring it.
I don't care how much you're paying me. Oh, it's nothing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding. You do 90% of the work for this podcast. So.
You keep saying that, but no, 90% of the work is us having this conversation. What are you drinking today? What was that?
I didn't expect that. I don't want to tell you.
What is that? Are you drinking alcohol? What is it?
It's hot chocolate. It's like
are you telling the truth or?
Yeah, it's the truth.
Okay, sure.
It's very minimally sugary hot chocolate. I put a spoon of like this dark chocolate special reishi mushroom. Oh, we're health freaks and this is so healthy for you. It's a spoon of that and then a spoon of Nesquik. So I feel like it balances. So there's a little bit of sugar in it. It's a little too bitter or like too tasteless without there.
There's no drugs in there?
Not that I know of. Well, no, I guess no, there's no caffeine in it.
There isn't?
Is chocolate a drug? No,
Chocolate has caffeine in it.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, the Nesquik is clearly just sugar. And so sugar is kind of a drug.
I was just trying to catch you in a lie.
I know you were, but do you know what actually happens when people accuse me of lying?
What happens?
Or like if I think someone is accusing me of lying, sometimes I get nervous that people think I'm lying, even if I'm not, actually, especially if I'm not lying.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because you start worrying that the other person thinks it's not about what you think. And then you're like, oh, I have to
and then you're like
act
overthinking
a certain way so they don't, overthinking.
And then they interpret that as lying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's actually pretty hard to know when someone's lying is because, I kind of just jumped right into that.
That's okay. Let's jump into it.
Do you want to jump right into that?
Yeah.
So being able to tell if someone's lying or not, they have all those little tools. They'll be like body language and micro expressions. And did you ever see that show Lie to Me with Tim Roth?
I know about it. I never really watched it.
What is it? Never really watched it. Did you watch it or no?
I've caught a little bit of it on. I never really watched it.
It's mostly just like Tim Roth looking at people like with his head tilted and like his eyes kind of like intensely looking at someone like that.
Figuring out if they're lying.
Yeah. it was fun. It was a good time. I watched it a few years ago.
I'm guessing he was really good at figuring it out.
He was very good at figuring out. I think there's something really satisfying about watching someone be able to tell. And he would be like, I noticed that there was a slight wrinkling of their forehead when I said this thing, and that means this. And
that is
that's
really
not
satisfying, though,
it's
to watch
satisfying.
someone figure out when somebody else is lying. We love, I mean, there's a part of us that's it's really satisfying catching somebody in a lie.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
Even though it's horrible if they're lying to us sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's a satisfying
like,
thing to do.
I'm right. And you thought you could trick me and you couldn't. You're not as smart as you think you are.
Yeah, because we feel intelligent when we can figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm smarter than you is essentially.
Almost like it's like a game.
Yeah, I guess so. I'd rather people not lie all the time, but
you're saying when people
yeah.
think they figured out that you lied when you really didn't lie, that like,
well, people sometimes I can tell that people think I'm being dishonest when really I'm just nervous about the fact that I'm being interrogated, which kind of brings me to the whole like, can you read people's body language or even lie detector tests? Usually what those things tell you is whether someone's comfortable or uncomfortable, which means that if someone's a sociopath or they like,
they can lie easily.
They lie very easily and you're not going to catch them
because they feel no remorse about the lie.
Exactly. You're not going to catch them on a lie detector. They're not going to be uncomfortable because they don't really care what you think.
So how do lie detectors work?
I think they measure certain like bodily, it measures, so like what's the
like heart rate and stuff?
Yeah, it measures a baseline and then measures how much those things like heart rate and all of those things change based on what questions are being asked. So like, how much does it change when I ask you your name versus when I ask you if you killed this person? Or...
So I see. So it's expected to change a little bit, but it's about whether it changes more than it normally would.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
They see.
I don't think it's not just, I don't feel that there have been lots of studies disproving the validity of lie detector tests. And I don't think they're admissible in court or anything like that.
They're not. I know they're not admissible in court, but I feel like they have been useful though.
Doesn't mean they say nothing, but yeah, but if you have, but like if a murderer is also a psychopath, a sociopath, I still don't remember the difference, but like either of those.
Same thing in this sense, yeah.
In this sense, then they lie very easily and a lie detector will tell you nothing, right?
In those cases, yes, probably, because like you said.
But then how can you trust it ever? How do you know?
Well, because most people who lie do feel bad about lying, right?
But what if when I ask you if you murder someone, the changes are not showing that you actually did it or that you feel guilty, but actually that you're just nervous that you're even being interrogated for this thing that you didn't do?
And that does happen.
Right.
But maybe it's possible that those things look different, that nervousness.
Maybe. I guess I'm in no way an expert on this, but I don't think they're considered very valid as a way to tell whether someone's lying or not.
I mean, it's because it would suck if it said that you were lying when you weren't. Like, I don't know. One of my biggest fears in life is false accusation. And when people do falsely accuse me of something, I get really, really defensive and upset.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah.
Even from like as a child, I feel like even like if someone jokingly, you would get like really understandably upset at something. I can't think of a specific instance, but I feel like you have like an indignant, what's that called? You just get very outraged at this kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'm a little better than I was when I was a kid, where I just couldn't take a joke and stuff. But I still, if I get falsely accused, especially if someone says I was lying when I wasn't lying, oh my God, that really gets to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating.
You've had that happen?
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, I could have lied and maybe this wouldn't have even happened, but I tried to do the right thing and now you're
still saying I'm lying.
And I'm being punished for it. Yeah. Or you're still saying I'm lying and it's, yeah.
You bring up a good point. You're getting punished for, like, is it sometimes in your benefit to lie?
Well, yeah. I mean, there are.
Like, what are the consequences?
Like white lie. What are the consequences?
Yeah.
I mean, are you talking about like white lies versus self-serving lies versus
black lies?
Are they called black lies?
Matter? Black lies matter too.
Oh, we both said it.
Oh.
That's how I know it's a bad joke.
Oh, boy.
I said it first.
I thought it first. I was waiting for the moment and then you just immediately came to you and then you snuck it in before I could say my joke.
How do I know you're telling the truth right now? I can't read your thoughts.
You don't.
There's no record of your thoughts. There's only a record of what we said and who said it first. So.
Well, I guess it's just about trust.
All right. I trust you.
Do we need each other always to tell the truth, honestly?
Well, sometimes, I mean...
Like, I once told somebody, I said, look, if you're lying to me about this thing, that's fine, but I better never find out.
Oof. So intense. I've never met that version of you, Josh.
It's just like, whatever the thing is, if you're lying and you get away with it, then I don't know what I don't know. Like, it can't hurt me unless I know. So I better not know. If you're making the choice to lie, you better hide it forever. It better not come up in like 3 years so I can think like, oh my God, you were lying to me for years.
I can't think of a reason I would want someone to lie to me. Like, even if I ask, like, do I look fat? I think that's kind of the classic white lie example. That's one of those classic white lie examples. Like, if I look fat, just tell me so I can change my outfit. Like,
I always answer the same way when people ask me ridiculous questions like that.
What do you say to that? What's your answer?
I say, yeah, you look morbidly obese.
So you sidestep the lie versus truth by just making a joke.
Yes.
Would you ever say that to someone who is morbidly obese?
No, but if they ask me if someone who was morbidly obese was like, do I look fat? I'd be like, look, you're a big person. Like, that's like, what do you want me to say? Like, we all
right. So you wouldn't tell a morbidly obese person that they're morbidly obese.
I'm not a doctor.
You can't tell someone's BMI just by looking at them.
I can't tell them if they're morbidly obese.
Just regularly obese,
I guess.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe that's their healthiest body type. I don't know for sure.
Okay. Well, that could be a topic for a different episode. But
what were we talking about?
We're kind of talking about, we're saying white lies versus black lies, or I've never really heard them as black lies.
That's
probably
not a
for
real
good
thing.
Reasons, maybe
that's not a. We just
you say it's not a real thing, but when I googled like different types of lies, black lies did show up, and I was like, what? I never read it out loud until you said it. Like, I didn't hear it out loud, and the similarity to black lies.
When police lie, is it called a blue lie?
Oh, so wait, but you know that there are blue lies as well.
What?
Was that a joke?
Yeah.
No, so there are white lies, black lies, and blue lies. So
what?
Yeah, I know. And then if you look up lie color, they also have like pink lies and stuff. I don't know about that stuff, but I'll explain these to you. So you'll learn something today, Josh. So white lies, you probably know what that is. You want to...
White lie is just when you make supposedly a little lie that hopefully doesn't hurt anybody. And in fact, you might tell because you think it's helpful,
right?
Or actually even kind.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily have to be small, but the idea that it's pro-social lying is one of the definitions I found that was helpful. It's pro-social. So it's motivated by compassion and
empathy.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's done
in someone's benefit.
Yeah. To maybe not hurt someone's feelings. It's done maybe to help someone. Maybe you're hiding someone in your attic and someone comes looking for them and wants to hurt them. And you're like, oh no, they're not here. I mean,
you mean like hiding Jews in the attic during the Holocaust?
I mean, is
that a white lie?
Yeah. Well, actually that could be.
Is that more of an Aryan lie?
Oh my God. Oh gosh. I can't. I was being serious.
No, I know, but is that a white? That's not a white lie. That seems too big. It seems like a different type of lie. That's not like pro-social.
But I don't think white lies have to be small.
That's like pro-life.
Oh my God.
It's pro-choice, actually.
Okay. What did you do today? Did you take something? Like, what's going on here? Joke. No, that's fine. I like this. No.
Sorry, they write themselves.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, okay, so let me say blue lies and then you can make more jokes
because those matter too.
Oh my God. What I found was that those are altruistic falsehoods, so they're usually done to protect a group.
Oh, so blue lies are actually the ones where if you're hiding Jews in the attic during the Holocaust.
I think so. I don't know if that would count unless you kind of belong to that group or if you're trying to help that group. But yeah, because I don't. Now I
see your face is doing all kinds of weird things, like you're not sure.
Okay, here. Blue lies, altruistic falsehoods, sometimes told at a cost to the liar, that are intended to protect a group, like family or classmates.
Or Jews.
So, for example, lying about a crime committed by a sibling or deceiving a teacher about someone else's misbehavior.
Okay, so
kind of to save other people. So you're lying in the benefit of someone else.
Doesn't that count? Like, yeah, like trying
yeah,
to
I
help.
guess so. I guess that could be a blue lie. Yeah, it wasn't one of the examples, but maybe not everybody thinks of.
And that's not the same as a white lie.
Well, a white lie is still. I don't know why. Why wouldn't that be a white lie, though? Now we're just getting stuck in definitions.
For me, a white lie is something a little smaller. Like you said, it's more about the social aspect of it.
Right. It's not done to protect someone necessarily. But what if, like, I think what matters is intention. So, like, a white lie is done with pro-social intentions. Like, it's for, if you're lying for someone's safety, I would still consider that a white lie. White lie doesn't have to be just a small lie. It's also just this is just a question of definition, essentially.
What does it say when you look up white lie?
Let's look it up. Boop-be-doop-be-doo. Boop-be-doop-be-doop-be-doop. Boop. There's a film called White Lie.
Oh, I've seen that.
And
is it the one about? There's a film called White Lie that played actually in the Forest City Film Festival right after my movie. And it was about a woman who lied to everybody and told them she had cancer so she could raise money. And she didn't really have cancer.
Oh, I saw that movie too.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It was actually really good.
That was a very good movie. I feel like that should have gotten like a wider release.
That's not a white lie. That's a messed up lie. And it's done in self-interest.
I feel like it was a bit of a pun because like white lie, white cell. I don't know. There was something to do with cancer there.
Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, I think we're both right in terms of what a white lie could be. The first definition, if you refer to an untrue statement as a white lie, you mean that it is made to avoid hurting someone's feelings or to avoid trouble and not for an evil purpose. But then if you scroll down, it says white lie in British English, a minor or unimportant lie, especially one uttered in the interests of tact or politeness.
Yeah.
And also in American English, a lie concerning a trivial matter, often one told to spare someone's feelings. So
white lie is to spare someone's feelings. Maybe a blue lie is to literally help their life or something.
Yes, but blue lies can be negative as well. So blue lies aren't, because what if it's done to protect a group that shouldn't be protected? What if it is for the police and you're actually just lying to protect your policeman who actually did do something wrong and you're lying to protect them, right? Like,
it's like on the nose.
That might be where it came from for all I know.
Oh, interesting. But the idea, though, that there is these lies you can tell that are based out of empathy, or at least out of wanting to protect somebody else, as opposed to, I think the main difference there is it's not to help you.
Right.
Although it might be to help your own feelings.
Yeah.
You know, we want to be polite.
Yeah, we want to be comfortable.
For example, maybe it would be in someone's benefit to tell them about their health issue.
Yeah.
But it's not polite.
And it might make them mad at you.
It might make them mad at you.
And you don't want to get.
But it might be the best thing to say. So
it
doesn't necessarily mean it's the best thing to say, but you are considering other people's feelings and your own.
Right. Yeah. And I think whatever you take away from the colors of lies, I think the important thing behind that is just that intention matters. So whether your intention is to help people or not is what makes it an acceptable or an unacceptable lie, right?
So you think there are acceptable lies, then you think it's okay, or we should?
Yeah. I think if I'm hiding someone in
in that case.
Well, why? But I mean, if it's in that case,
if you lie to protect someone who deserves it.
Yeah, protecting someone
who deserves to be protected.
Well,
because you can lie to protect someone who doesn't deserve it. Like, oh, my friend murdered somebody, I'm lying to protect them. Oh, that doesn't make you a good person.
Well, you're protecting them from the law?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, sometimes the law is not a good thing. Okay, yeah.
Well, it depends. Like, if you protect somebody from getting arrested that deserves to be arrested, then that's bad. If you protect them from getting arrested when they don't, that's good.
Right. This kind of circles back to our, would you help your friend hide a body?
I know.
And lie about it later.
Is that the loyalty one?
Yeah. So
I have a question. Do you remember when you were little? Do you remember the first time you really lied to your parents?
I don't remember the first time, but I remember.
Or a big time?
I remember there were a few times when, I mean, I'm sure it was something minimal. I was very, very young. Like, I must have been like 4 or 5. I was lying about something, I guess. Like, did you do this thing? No. And my dad would tell me, there are stars in your eyes when you lie, you know? Ooh. And I thought there were like stars in my eyes.
You thought there were literal stars in your eyes? Like there was lit up stars flashing in your eyes whenever you lied and they could see that?
Yeah. And I would like look in the mirror and I'd be like, I don't see them. And he's like, no, we can see them. And then, so he'd like really, anytime he'd ask me something, he'd really inspect me. And sometimes I'd like open. So the thing is,
would you close your eyes really tight?
The way I would respond would tell him whether I'm lying or not. So sometimes I'd be like, I'm not lying. And I'd like open my eyes and be like, see, there's no stars. And then other times I would like
so cute.
Avoid looking at him or like just close my eyes to, and it's like you telling him that you're lying without having to, but yeah.
It's not fair because parents lie to you all the time.
Yes.
Tell you about the tooth fairy.
I wrote down Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. And I mean,
is that a good lie to tell kids?
I don't know. I wonder about that. Like, I guess I never found the Tooth Fairy to be too harmful, but I wonder about like telling kids about Santa Claus because isn't it like some kind of traumatic thing? I mean, I don't know. I never.
When you find out that Santa Claus isn't real?
Yeah. Don't they go through some kind of trauma when they, like everyone remembers when they found out that Santa Claus wasn't real. I mean, I guess I remember when I found out the Tooth Fairy wasn't real and I've talked about it on this podcast already, but like, is it worth it to lie to them about that?
Oh yeah. We also said it was like when people find out that God isn't real. If that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, people haven't proven enough. Like, I guess some people might continue as adults to believe in Santa Claus.
Yeah.
They're just pretty quiet about it, I guess.
Can I tell you that story of you being told that you had stars in your eyes when you were lying is the most adorable thing ever?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
did that keep you from lying more? Did it work?
I think eventually found out that it wasn't true. And I remember like I already said, like, I looked in the mirror and I was like, I don't see them. And eventually you learn that your parents don't know when you're lying or not.
That's like a big moment. You're like, they don't
It's
really
a
know it. It's
big
like you
moment.
have to
Yeah.
like get away with something.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get away with something, then it's like, oh.
Yeah. You don't know what's in my head. It's kind of freeing because it's like, oh, my mind is my own.
Yeah. I just watched something recently where it was some show or movie where I don't know, they were all being told that the gods could hear everything. Or not the gods, like actually that they were being told that the people in charge were gods. And that they could hear everything they were doing and they knew when they were lying.
That's like every religion we've ever heard. Yeah. Okay.
But there was actual people in charge that they were being told were gods.
Right.
And for them to realize they weren't gods, somebody, tried to get away with something. When you realize, oh my God, they didn't really know.
They didn't catch me. Right.
And once you realize that, it starts to fall apart. The lie.
Right.
That itself is a lie.
Yeah, that they were the ones lying to you and they don't have stars in their eyes and neither do you.
People lie to you to keep power.
Yeah.
To hold on to power. It's a real thing. I'm not saying parents do that. Parents do that, obviously.
But they do that. I think one of the main like arguments for keeping Santa Claus around is like, it's such a useful tool. Some kids misbehaving, you tell them Santa's he's gonna leave you a lump of coal.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
But you tell yourself it's for their benefit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a disciplinary tactic, just like saying that I can see stars in your eyes when you lie. So
my mom, I always, and I always bring this up, but like I said, she could be pretty scary. I did believe that she was omniscient and omnipotent, like all powerful, all seeing.
Yeah.
That meant that if I lied, it just felt like she'd know.
Yeah.
And she used to say, like my mom used to say when I would lie, I don't know if you've heard this phrase, she'd say, you lie like a big dog.
I don't even know what that means.
Because lying down, like a big dog lies down, like you lie like a big dog.
Oh, but that's not how you spell lie.
Yeah, it is. It's the same.
No,
it's the same spelling.
To lie.
Yeah,
I thought we decided that it was. Oh, right.
You're confusing lay and lie.
Okay. Never mind.
We just talked about this.
Shut up,
For those out there who don't know it, this is nothing to do with the lying as we mean it, but you don't lay down, you lie down. People often say lay down, but you lay something down.
You can lay down your arms.
Yeah.
Arms as in weapons. Lay down your weapons. And you could.
Yes.
One is a transitive verb and one is an intransitive verb.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
I mean, we're making it sound like you're teaching everybody else now instead of you learning this 30 minutes ago.
I learned which one was transitive and which one was intransitive like 20 minutes ago, but I knew what those were. You learned what
I learned what transitive, intransitive were.
Yes. Thank you. Let's be honest.
That's just the names for the things. I actually knew what lie and lay were and the best way to use them.
Yeah, but you were trying to describe it to me in a really weird way. You were like, well, because one, it means that you're doing. I was like, okay, yeah, one takes a direct object, one doesn't. I get it. You don't have to describe this whole thing to me.
I understand that you're a doctor, Dr. Ishai, and that it was difficult for you to take the fact that I was better grammatically.
Oh,
but
all right. I'm gonna remember this the next time you're wrong about something, and I'm just gonna smush your wrongness in your face.
You're gonna smush my wrongness in my face. That was very visual, very visceral and visual.
Yeah.
But back to the other type of lying, not lying down. That's what my mom would say. She'd say, you lie like a big dog.
Right.
I remember it took me a while to understand what she meant by that. I think it took like years to be like, oh, that's what that meant.
I still don't know if maybe she meant that like big dogs don't lie well.
No, I think she meant that like a big dog lies down and covers a lot of space. So when I lie.
So like your lie is so large. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Like it's a really obvious lie.
Right.
Like a big dog lying down. The more we describe this, the more ridiculous it is.
Were you lying, Josh?
I don't think I lied much to my mom. Like I said, I was scared.
Yeah.
I was very, very afraid a lot of lying. And I did talk about last week how
you lied about the Harry Potter books.
Yeah.
Right?
My mom grounded me from reading the 4th Harry Potter book, The Goblet of Fire. And I was so excited to read it. I took it with me to school and read it anyway.
Yeah.
But I did feel like she was going to know and she was going to find out. It was probably one of the moments, though, where I learned when she didn't find out that I maybe could get away with some things here and there.
How old were you?
I was in high school.
Oh, no. Wait, you were in high school when she grounded you from reading. Is that when the 4th Harry Potter book came out?
I feel like I was in grade 9 or something. Wait, maybe I'm crazy. I just remember it being...
I'm just Googling this.
Maybe it was in high school. I don't know. Yeah, what year was the 4th Harry Potter book?
Was it right after it came out?
It was just the moment it came out.
2000, July 2000.
89. That would be 10, 11 years after we were born.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's like grade 7 or something, maybe.
Okay. I feel like that's better. I'd be a little more concerned if it took you until high school to realize that you're.
You know what? Maybe I'm confusing a couple of the different Harry Potter books.
Maybe.
But no, it was the fourth one, though, that she grounded me from. I remember that. And yeah, so I lied about that. That was like a big deal. That was me rebelling. That was like the height of my rebellion. But I remember my brothers had this really kind of big lie that they told my parents at one point. I'll never forget this because like I didn't know what was going on at first. I remember my brother Daniel, and I might have brought this up before. My brother Daniel was talking to her in the garage. Like it was very strange. Like she took him into the garage to talk to him. I knew something was up. And I kind of like cracked the door open a little and listened in. My brother basically admitted to her that he'd been stealing from her purse.
Whoa.
Stealing money.
That's so much worse than anything you ever did, I feel.
Yeah. It wasn't just Daniel. It was Daniel and Alex.
What? Oh, little Alex. Why weren't you in
and
it?
The neighbors,
Josh?
And the neighbor's kid.
Sorry. I like how they got they like recruited the neighbor's kid before they recruited their oldest brother.
We know you would know who they are actually, but I don't know. I think we can talk about it now. It's probably fine.
Your mom's not. Is your mom going to come back and haunt them or
not? My mom. I'm talking about the neighbors. But do you know the Adeles?
Yeah, of course. Like Georgia
and Celia, right?
Celia.
So they did it with Max Adele.
I find that so funny. Just like
yeah. So they stole from my mom, and when my mom found out,
I'm sorry, it's not funny to steal.
But... I mean, it's kind of objectively funny.
Yeah.
But when my mom found out, she didn't scream at my brothers or my brother. Usually that's what she would do. She would just go off shouting, kind of crazy. She cried.
Oh.
I remember this. Like it was just so devastating to her that my brother would do that. And I guess Daniel was kind of the ringleader of this thing.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But they didn't just steal from her. Turns out they stole from Jay Adele, from the father.
Oh.
And here's what was interesting. We'd carpool with them in the morning to go to school. And usually the mother, Janice, she would show up to pick us up in the van. We'd all go together in this van. But this one day, Jay came to pick us up in his truck, in his pickup truck, which was kind of odd. That wasn't the usual thing. I'm like, cool, get to sit in the back of a pickup truck. This is cool. I just remember Jay's driving. We all get in the car and he turns around and he goes, "Hey, Daniel, you and I, we're going to have a little talk later." Oh. And he had like crazy eyes and oh my God, I was scared on his behalf. Daniel was crapping his pants. I could see it. I didn't see that. I mean, you
could smell it.
Anyway, oh my God. I guess he did have to have a talk with them too. Very scary time. So they were stealing money they would just go buy stuff from the variety store.
Oh yeah. Like what do you even need?
They just bought candy and stuff. It was just to do it.
Candy.
I don't know. It was like a whole scheme for, I don't know, it felt huge to them. Like, oh, we can go buy whatever candy we want.
Yeah.
And I just remember my dad, though, he acknowledged my brother Daniel shouldn't have done that, but he didn't want to get upset at Alex. Who also did it.
Yeah.
And the reason is apparently he found out that when they stole from my mom, Daniel then tried to go steal from my dad's wallet too. But Alex was like, "No, not from dad."
Oh, not the good parent. Not the parent I like. Oh,
no, not from God. Dad.
So your dad was like, "Okay, Alex."
Dad was like, "Alex is fine. Yeah."
Alex is a good kid. He would never steal from me. And didn't you get some points for not even being involved with this?
I just didn't get punished for this.
Okay.
And I don't even remember what my brother's punishment was. I think here's the thing about Daniel. I'm pretty sure he was like her favorite, or at least he was the one who didn't get punished as much.
Even though he was the worst one, no offense.
Well,
I should say that better. Even though he was the least well-behaved.
It depends what matters to you in a sense, right? Like
he was quieter, I guess.
I talked back all the time, so I deserve, I guess, more punishment.
Just for that? I mean, yeah, I guess that can be pretty annoying.
I didn't get in trouble for lying. I just got in trouble for talking in general. I got in trouble for saying the truth.
And now we've started a podcast. You could talk as much as you want. Yeah.
There you go. This is why. Telling the truth could get me in trouble sometimes too.
Well, you're a very honest person. I feel like you're more likely to give people a truth they don't want to hear.
You think so?
Than to automatically lie. Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, I feel like I appreciate honesty even if I don't like it in the moment.
You know, I realize I actually hate lying in general. Like I don't ever feel comfortable lying.
It's very uncomfortable.
Even when, have you ever lied to like sneak into a movie or about your age?
Oh yeah, I feel so much guilt about, or not now, but I used, like as a kid, I would feel super guilty about, like there was this one time like some friends wanted to go. It's kind of funny. So like they wanted to see Moulin Rouge, and it was because the girls that I was with from like my dance studio, and they liked these boys, and these boys wanted to go see Moulin Rouge, and I'm pretty sure it was because they thought it was like racy
Ooh, raunchy.
stuff. Yeah, they didn't know it was like a musical, a love story.
I remember thinking it was some raunchy movie because all I knew was Voulez-vous coucher
Yeah, that's
avec
what
moi
everyone knew,
ce
right?
soir?
Okay, that's enough, Josh. So yeah, that's what everyone thought. And I remember like I lied about what movie we were seeing, and I literally like stayed up at night later feeling so guilty, because it was also just like such an unnecessary lie. I was like, I didn't even want to see that movie. If I had told my mom what movie I was seeing, she probably would have not cared or not realized that there was anything wrong with it, or thought that like it would have been fine. Why did I lie? And I just like always felt bad. So yeah.
By the way, if your mom's gonna listen to any episode, it's gonna be
Yeah.
this one.
Oh god damn it. Yeah. Well, that's the only lie I'm copying to. So I saw Moulin Rouge when I was like 12 and it was fine.
You're a real rebel. Just like me reading the fourth Harry Potter book.
Exactly. Yeah. But I didn't even care about it. That's not, yeah. Anyways. But yes, my point there was I feel guilt lying to people when I don't feel like they deserve to be lied to.
Right.
Which most people don't.
But that's usually like to somebody. Like, do you feel guilt lying? Like if you lied on a resume or if you lied to get into someplace?
It depends. I'd prefer not to. I'd rather, it's partly just, it's annoying to have to remember the things that you lied about in a way. Like, I don't want to.
Right. Because then you have to maintain the lie.
Yeah. And it's like, can't I just be myself? And like, if you don't, like lying on a resume is kind of like lying. Well, you're supposed to exaggerate. Resumes maybe aren't the best example, but like.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are times when some people think it's kind of, like, I don't really care if someone wants to, lie to. There's the drinking age thing, right? If you're in America, it's 21, it's 19 in Canada, 18 in Quebec, right?
I don't see that as a problem. Like, I don't think drinking's good for you, and you probably shouldn't do it if you're young, but I don't care. Like,
but if you were like, I don't know, some people lied, of course, because when they were 17 or 18, right, to get in, or even younger. But it's interesting because people have to lie in the US more than in Canada.
Oh, yeah, way more.
Right. Because the drinking age is 21, you see a lot more fake IDs and stuff like that.
Right.
In Canada, it's like, oh, well, it's a whole 2 years before here.
Yeah. I can empathize with, budding alcoholics that want to no, I think it's more just like being part of
the age
that
too.
Kind of culture, and you want to go out with your friends and you're too young and all that stuff. So I can get that. And I mean,
it's like you have to lie to fit in.
Yeah. I mean, that is lying for your own personal gain, but it's also just like you're not hurting anyone other than yourself.
It's almost part of the culture, though.
Yeah.
Any movie we see, that's like such a typical thing to lie a little about your age to get alcohol a year or two earlier than you otherwise should.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just that's not considered the worst of lies, right?
Yeah, I don't see anything really necessarily wrong with it.
But there are people, though, who think that it's the same thing when you lie, let's say, about having a vaccine card going into a restaurant.
That's not the same.
They feel it's like the same. Like, oh, I just got into the restaurant. But the difference here is you actually might be hurting other people.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can tell this story without talking about names or anything, but I had a friend. Well, you were there actually at the film festival. You remember we went to the Forest City Film Festival and my feature anthology film was playing.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who worked on it with me, he was going to come. I've always wanted him to come. Like, this would be a big moment for us, for him to come see the movie and be a part of the experience, talk about it maybe on stage. It would have been really, really cool. I dreamed of being able to do this with him. And he's like, yeah, man, of course I'll be there. I'll come down from Toronto. I'll see you there. Of course. I'll take off work, whatever I got to do. And then he hits me up again. He goes, hey, do they have that vaccination requirement at the theater? And I'm like, yeah, they do. You gotta show proof of vaccination. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, that might be a problem. He goes, well, you know what? I'm gonna look into. Don't worry, I'm gonna look into getting one of those fake cards.
How about look into getting the vaccine?
Look, I have my issues with this belief.
I think that's really shitty, though.
Well, here's the thing. They said this, like, oh, I'll get a card and hopefully I'll be able to get that and I'll be there. And I was like, yeah. I said, look, I'm feeling very conflicted. Like, of course I want you to be there.
Yeah.
I really want that selfishly. I said, on the other hand, my dad's going to be there. And I don't know if I mentioned this, like my dad came.
He's immunocompromised. Yeah.
Yeah. My dad came to the film festival and he's immunocompromised, cancer, chemotherapy. And he was recently vaccinated. But, vaccination boosts your immune system. If you don't have an immune system, it's not much to boost.
Yeah.
And so that puts someone like him at much more risk. And so I'm thinking, wow, if I'm okay with my friend coming with a fake card, I could put my dad at risk. He could put my dad at risk. And suddenly I had to tell him that. He's a good guy. And he did say, he's like, I understand that. And never mind then. And I mean, I wish instead it was, I'll go get vaccinated, but.
Or also just like assume that there is, like, it had to be your dad who was immunocompromised that he knew was going to be there.
You're right. He wasn't assuming that because I think he didn't. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he doesn't understand it the way you and I do. He would probably say he doesn't believe some of this stuff. It's not out of a place of malice. It's out of a place of
stupidity.
I mean, I guess you would say ignorance, but it's what he believes.
This isn't the guy that said I have a nice podcast voice, is it?
No, it's not.
Oh, thank God.
You know who said you had a nice podcast voice?
Yeah.
Mitchell Brell, the lead actor in that movie.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, he did. He said you have a nice podcast voice. I know you've been on a cloud for days since then.
I haven't been on a cloud.
You'll probably listen to this right now. Mitch, if you're listening.
Oh no.
You're a nice man. You made Aya real happy.
I shouldn't care so much what someone thinks, but
you know who he didn't say had a nice podcast voice? Me.
Well, he already knows what you sound like. It's just like your friends being
exactly.
like, oh, your co-host makes some good jokes. Like you make good jokes too. They just know them already. I don't know that anyone said that to you. Yeah. Well, he said I sounded great. This is time to rub this in your face. No, actually, it's very sweet that you even screenshot and share those things with me. So I appreciate that, Josh. Thanks.
I think people say nice things about people. They should hear it. Like it's nice to know.
That's nice. I'll let you know if anyone ever says something nice about you. Oh my God.
You have actually. You have.
I have. So this is a joke, and I'm like, this is so mean. He just said something nice to me.
Your friend Dave says some nice things about me sometimes, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I did share those with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll also listen to this. Yeah.
Anyway, so
okay, back to your story.
That sort of vaccination lie. I mean, there's lies like that where I think they can be damaging to society.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever seen that movie Liar Liar?
I sure have. That was one of my favorites as a child. I don't know why. There was like a family friend that we had where I would go over there and I would be like, I want to watch a Jim Carrey movie. And they were like, oh, here's Liar Liar. And I watched that. I don't know how many times. And also there's one point where he makes a lot of, like when he's trying to lie and he can't, like the premise of the movie is that Jim Carrey is a lawyer who can't lie. I'm not ruining anything right now.
No, like for like a day.
He can't lie for a day. Yeah. And when he's trying to lie, he just starts making all these weird noises. He's like, he's just, I just found that so entertaining.
He can't stop himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they make it out to be like sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, right? You don't want to tell everybody the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
That's sometimes not a good thing, especially like you could say something. There's a difference between lying, like not telling the truth about something like as a fact of reality and lying about what you feel or think. There's a difference between lying about, I don't know why this is
like if someone gets you a gift and you're like, I love it. If you hate it.
Well, that's your feeling, right? But I mean, if I said, do we live in a democracy? This is a dumb example, right?
And your dad's like, no, it's a rotating dictatorship.
Is my dad lying?
No, because he thinks he's telling the truth. He thinks that that's like,
it's not really a democracy.
Isn't that kind of what he thinks? Like he was making a social commentary there.
So if my dad says it's a democracy, is my dad lying?
Well, no, because technically it's a democracy.
But he's lying because he doesn't really think.
Oh, if he believes that it's a.
You see what I'm saying?
And he says it's a democracy. Well, you can always. I think you just have to be very specific with things.
Which one is the lie?
Well,
is the lie based off of what you think or based off of reality?
What is reality? Does reality not just exist in our minds? All right. That's a hard question to answer.
It's just interesting because I think that people think of lying. You ever accidentally tell the truth when you thought you were lying?
Not that I could think of, but probably, yeah.
So then the intention is still lying.
So intention matters, basically.
Yeah, I think lying, when we talk about lying, it's really the intent to lie.
Right.
Right. It's a big part of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you lie to yourself about anything?
I lie to myself about tons of things, of course. Yeah. I'm usually pretty aware of it. So, like,
Like what?
you got a sub today.
Yeah.
And I wanted to also get a sub, but I also wanted to get McDonald's fries. And I normally am pretty good at like lying to myself enough to be like, I should get McDonald's fries because I did this thing and I needed reward. And if I don't give myself a reward for this, then I won't work as hard the next time. And it's like, you don't need to do any of that. You just want fries. Just admit you want fries. Just admit you want a sub and go get it. But it's like I go through these hoops to lie to myself about like, oh, it's actually healthy in a way to get a sub it's not the healthiest thing in the world. Like,
not bad.
It's not bad, but I
Sandwich.
have tons of vegetables in my fridge that I could make into food, or I have food. I'd be lying to myself if I said I needed to go get a sub today. So like there's enough of that, but I do my best not to. But yeah, I think it happens. Do you lie to yourself, Josh?
I think we all have done that, and I try really hard not to. Like I lie to myself about, especially when it comes to eating and stuff, like, oh, I'm only going to eat part of this thing or I'm not gonna eat that much, or if I get this thing I'll be able to eat in moderation. Like I'm really bad when it comes to food related things.
Oh, me too.
But when it comes to creative things, like, by the way, right now we're talking a little about self-control, which I'm happy because we kind of forgot to talk about this aspect of control last week.
Nice little sneak in there. Yeah, good call.
No, it really works actually when it comes to lying.
Okay.
It's a good way to follow up on topics we might have missed.
A topic we definitely missed, and part of the reason we chose control last week
was to talk about
like New Year's resolutions and when you like self-control, right? Deciding that
well, now we get to say there's a lot of lying that happens in New Year's resolutions, isn't there? But again, is it lying because the intention is usually true?
Yeah.
This is why I was talking about it. Are they really lying if they don't follow through on their intention?
I don't think it's a lie so much as a deception. No, I don't know.
Well, you're deceiving yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because this is kind of what I was going to get at with my own creative stuff. I'm aware of what distracts me usually when I'm writing.
Right.
For example, I know I generally won't get up early in the morning to write. I won't get up early in the morning to do anything. I won't get up early in the morning to work out. I don't get up early in the morning to do stuff. But sometimes the night before, I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll just chill, relax, go to bed. You know what? But I'll get up early and do this thing.
Yeah.
Do I ever do that? No.
Yeah.
I'm lying to myself.
But I'm pretty bad about that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
When I work with my friend Jacob, I remember having this conversation with him because he'll say, we'll be out writing. He'll be like, hey, I think we should wrap it for tonight. Let's start this up again in the morning. I'm like, we're not going to do that. He's like, no, this time we will. I'm like, no, the past is the best predictor of the future here. And
well, sometimes
I'm
people
100% sure. I'm 100% sure we won't.
Well, not with that attitude. You won't wake up.
And we never do.
You have to change something.
You have to try so hard, and it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
It might. I think that's a little too like defeatist.
I'm not saying that you can't if you really put all the effort into it. But in these moments, I know that it's not going to happen, and I am right. I've been right 100% of the time.
Well, that's because you're the one not doing it. You're like, well, I better be right. No,
we're both not the one. You know, we both have this issue. Okay. But here's the point. I at least know that. I don't lie to myself.
Right.
I tell myself the truth about my own flaws and my own shortcomings and being able to get up and do this stuff. At least telling yourself the truth means that allows you to be more productive and results oriented.
Right.
It's not comfortable to acknowledge that I suck at that, you know?
Yeah, it's annoying. I wish I could wake up early.
But acceptance is the first part, right?
I guess so.
Once you accept it, then you can change things.
Right.
You can't change something if you don't accept it, right? You're not going to eat a lot healthier if you don't acknowledge that you don't eat healthy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think I need to delete the McDonald's app from my phone because it keeps telling me that I have free, like, oh, you have an offer. You can get a combo for this much. And I'm like, I should really use that coupon. Otherwise, it's going to expire and I'm not going to be able to get cheap, delicious, horrible for you food. So I had a friend, she got me this really nice purse that was like based on something that I said I liked of hers. And I remember the thing of hers that I genuinely did like. And she got me something kind of similar, but different enough that it didn't really like work for me. And she told me like, tell me the truth. If you don't like this, I can totally return it. And I I couldn't. And I remember thinking,
So white lie. You wanted to protect the feeling.
I was like, oh, I don't hate it. Like I should just tell, like, I like it. I don't hate it. Like, I want her to have to return this gift. So I was like, no, I like it. I like it. And like the more time passed, the worse I felt. And I still have that purse in my closet. And every time I see it, I think like, why did I lie to her? I should have gotten her to return it. Anyways, so it's not worth it. Don't lie, everybody.
It wasn't in your benefit.
It was not. It was in no one's benefit, right? Because now she probably feels like she wasted her money. And I feel like,
why would she feel that way if you lied successfully?
Because now she's going to listen to this and find out the truth.
So like I said, if you're going to lie, make sure they never know.
But I never wear it. Like she knows. She's going to know. I've never used it.
What if she didn't know? Well, now she's going to know.
Now she's going to know. I love you. Oh, Adriana. I'm sorry.
I have a couple of cases where people lied, or friends and people lied to me. One for like a good reason, and one that was like maybe one of the worst, actually. Maybe I can ask you too, what's the worst? Actually, let me ask you first. What's the worst lie that you feel you've ever been told by someone close to you? If you want to talk about that.
God, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's not really a lie because they think that.
Have you ever known that you've been lied to? There's probably lots of lies that people have told you that you just never found out about.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything other than like, yeah, I can't really think of anything. But how about you?
Well, think about it maybe right now. But for me, there's something very recently. This is actually a good thing. I'll start with.
Okay.
As you know, it was my birthday. It was our birthdays recently.
Mm-hmm.
But on the day of my birthday, my girlfriend planned a little surprise get together with some of my friends and housemates. Mm-hmm. She cooked all of this food, amazing food. Oh. It was the most wonderful, sweetest thing.
That's nice.
And she got my friend Jacob and everybody to lie to me.
That's nice.
Yeah, about what was going to happen. She lied herself. She said, we're going to go to... Here's the funny thing. She lied about where we were going to go to eat by saying we were going to go to this really nice restaurant that I was excited to go to.
Oh, no. So you were disappointed to find out that you were actually doing like...
Only slightly, because her cooked food was way better, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
And I much preferred that.
Yeah.
But I still want to go to this restaurant again, which we can still do. Anyway, she planned to go to this restaurant, and my friend Jacob wanted to take me to an escape room earlier that day. And we did. We went to this Soviet themed escape room.
Soviet themed? Oh, that's
it was Soviet themed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We had to decode a lot of stuff.
Lots of red.
Or pictures of Stalin everywhere. Okay. It was great. It was one of the best escape rooms I've done.
Cool.
And then, he and I he's like, let's get some boba.
Also known as bubble tea.
And then he's like, hey, man, we just have to go back to... I have to use the restroom. Maybe we'll go back to your house first. I'll just use the restroom there. I was like, oh, well, why don't you use the restroom in the restaurant? He's like, oh, I don't want to use the public restroom, And I'm like, oh, well, I feel like I've seen you use the public restroom plenty of times. Yeah, I'm trying not to do that so much now.
He's like, this is a number 3. I can't.
He's like, number 3. Well, no, I even asked him. He's like, no, number 1, man. I'm like, okay, well, why not just go wear a mask and go?
Number 1, he's a dude. Can't he do it on like the side of the road too? Like
he could, yeah. He's like, no, I don't want to use a public restroom. There's COVID and stuff. And
oh, okay, that's a fair.
And I was like, but I used it, and you're hanging out with me. He's like, Josh, it's just a rule that I need to stick to.
Just for today, right now, not generally, but yeah.
Here's the thing. I was suspecting this from the start. I was noticing all the, like when he told me he wanted to hang out the day before.
Yeah.
There's something about my friend Jacob's voice when he lies. Oh. It's very, I even told my girlfriend after he got off the phone, I said, he sounded a little fishy on the phone. And she's like, what do you mean fishy? But then I didn't keep going because I didn't want to ruin that I was catching on to there being a surprise.
Right. Yeah. The surprise being that you didn't get to go to the restaurant that you wanted to go to.
I mean, part of me was like, maybe would she really not go to Bestia? It was called Bestia. It's a really nice restaurant.
And it's like, would you really
not? There's a part of me that was thinking maybe it's not a lie because that's a pretty nice restaurant. But anyway,
yeah.
And she also told me to call her when I was done the escape room. When we were on our way back to my place for him to quote unquote go to the bathroom, I even almost didn't call my girlfriend because I thought, what if I call her right now and that ruins the surprise?
Right.
But what if I don't call her and she... Anyway, so I called her
there,
up and I was
wrapped in a little bow to be like, surprise, I'm your birthday present.
Well, so I gave her a call and I was like, hey, I finished up. We're actually going back to my place. And she got angry at me.
Oh.
She was like, wait, why didn't you call me earlier? Like, so you're just going to go drive there and what? I'm going to meet you there? And I'm like, you want me to pick you up? It's my birthday. I thought you're planning to go to this restaurant. You want me to come pick? And she got like irrationally angry, like a little annoyed at me. She's like, whatever. And like we hung up. And then Jacob was like, she seemed kind of upset at you.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't terrible lying, but because I was suspecting things, I was very aware that they were trying so hard.
Oh, like the plan was that she's like, oh, upset at you. And then
so
that was part of the thing.
It was clearly part of it.
Wow.
And the thing is, my girlfriend's a very good liar. I've noticed she was very good at that because she's an actress.
I was just gonna say that. I think they're supposed to.
She's an actress.
Yeah.
But Jacob is a good liar in a way, but he's very controlled. He's a salesman. He goes out and he sells things and he's very good at, and when he was talking to me, I knew it. He was using his salesman voice.
Oh, okay.
It was perfect. Everything he was saying was very controlled and perfect. And if you don't know the other person, that's fine. But I do know him. So, for example, when I lie to people, and I think I'm a pretty good liar, and I'll tell you why. Not to like toot my own horn here or anything.
Oh, you're tooting. That's fine.
That's all right. I'm talking about me lying. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty decent at it because I'm aware that the other element of being a good liar is you have to know your own kind of quirks and you have to be shameless in it. So when I'm talking to somebody about something, how do I say this?
Like you have to continue talking the way that you normally talk intentionally, even though you were.
Yeah, I have to add the same fumbles I normally would add in.
Right. Even though the temptation is to be more controlled while you're lying because everything is so deliberate.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're delivering information, you have to think it through. You don't come up with it exactly. You find your way there. You look a little ridiculous sometimes when you're doing this. And I know me, especially, I do. So I have to I know that, for example, I tend to, it's not going to always sound good, but sometimes I talk about me more, right? I'm not saying I always just talk about me, but that's part of it. There's a part of it that I relate to people by talking about myself.
Yeah. So if you skip that step when you're lying, people will know that you're lying. Is that what you're saying?
It's what I'm saying. So I also had to still exert my own flaws, which I had to do, by the way, because we lied to my friend. I think I told you this. His girlfriend created an escape room for him. It was awesome. Like she made an escape room and she made it. First of all, this was what's smart. She made it weeks before his actual birthday. So he had no idea what was coming this day. And then, whereas, this was the day of my birthday. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just naturally I'm going to start wondering if something's going to happen.
Well,
right?
This is a really nice way of criticizing people who put together a surprise birthday for you.
This is not a criticism. It was beautiful.
Oh, they did it the same day. Obviously, I'm going to catch on.
No, I'm saying that's natural. But I'm saying it was what we ended up doing with Jacob, though. I'm saying why the surprise worked.
Right.
Why the lying worked.
So you weren't surprised for your birthday?
So I'll get to that. I wasn't totally surprised.
Okay.
But for Jacob's birthday, his girlfriend made this escape room and I was a big part of it. And I had to hang out with him for a while. She's like, you're going to come over, Josh. And we made it so it's his idea that he's going to invite you over, basically, because I talked to him. I remember him calling me up, asking me if I wanted to come over. I had to act like I normally do. I was like, yeah.
You couldn't be like, yes, I do have that afternoon free to hang out with you. You had to be like,
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm recording my podcast.
Maybe I have to tell him I have to get baback to him. Just again, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I do ultimately end up coming over. And then I started talking to him about some of my problems because that's something I might do.
That's something you definitely do.
Oh my God.
If you just said, okay, if you talked for 5 seconds on the phone, I'd be like, something is up.
Maybe. I mean, it was still weeks before his birthday. So,
okay.
So while I was there, I made, I talked about my issues, his issue, you know what I mean? It was a mixture of things. Made it as natural as possible. And then boom, he gets a call from a burner phone. It says, read me, Jacob, or call me. I won't go into the details. But it was like a really cool escape room thing. Where
so they did the escape room 2 weeks before his birthday?
Yeah, she created an escape room. And it literally involved their own house.
But she didn't do it during his birthday.
No.
So that's no fun. I only want to do things for my birthday on my birthday.
No, it was a couple weeks before, and it was smart because he did not see it coming.
All right.
I had a video camera that I stopped talking. I talked so much, and then during his actual escape room part of it, I didn't talk.
Really? Wow.
I switched it on.
Good for you, Josh.
I basically didn't talk, and I just held the camera. I held the camera up and I smiled and I followed him around.
Okay.
And I shone lights on things. There's so much to this. She hid the key to the fridge. And before he couldn't figure out why he couldn't get into the fridge. There's a key so the dog doesn't get in.
Yeah, I don't have a key to my fridge yet. Maybe that's a good idea. We're talking about self-control.
I had to help him look for this key.
Yeah.
But I understood that this was going to come up later. So I'm not really helping him look for the key. But of course, I'm looking around going, I don't know, man. I don't know where it is. He's like, dude, I don't want to have to break this lock to get into my fridge, but this pizza is going to get cold.
Oh, so it was like a surprise escape room, and that he also didn't know he was in an escape room.
When he got the burner phone and when I started filming him,
right.
And I also held a taser on him too, by the way, or like a stun gun type thing.
That's intense. Why do you have a taser?
It was like a whole story about how his girlfriend was being kidnapped by my girlfriend, who was playing the sacred Rihanna or something from America's Got Talent.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Anyway,
okay, yeah.
she like put on, she's like, "Hi, Jacob, I have your girlfriend. If you really truly love her, you'll come get her." Wow. Then the key was taped to the phone. He opened the fridge and there's a map and he has to start. So we had to drive to Alhambra, like a whole another like city.
So did he actually think that your girlfriend had kidnapped his girlfriend, or did at this point he realize it was an escape room?
He realized it was an escape room. He didn't think there was real danger.
I don't know what your relationship is. I don't know. I don't know what your girlfriend does in her spare time.
Oh, she rented out like an abandoned building.
Wow, that's so cool.
Like apartment.
Yeah.
I remember we went into the bathroom at one point and he's reading the signs and the sign says like, wash your hands for 5 seconds. So he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It says like, don't flush this stuff down the toilet. So he tries flushing it down. And he goes, this isn't part of the escape room, is it? Like, no.
Oh, that's so funny. It was just like regular bathroom.
It was just a regular bathroom. Literally, he went down the wrong hallway.
I think it's still good that he washed his hands for 5 seconds. It's fine.
That was pretty good. And then of course there was like a candle in the middle of a dark hallway and all this stuff. And my girlfriend was there, like she'd come by and like scream and like run away. It was great. It was really, really cool. And we succeeded at surprising him.
You're talking to someone who has not enjoyed any of the escape rooms I've done, but sure.
Oh my God. You should do a good one. Anyway, we'll do one someday.
I think you're overestimating how much I care about escape rooms, but that's how much I would enjoy that.
I think you'll have a great time when we do a good one. Okay. But I digress.
Yeah.
So that was Jacob. I think we lied to him successfully and it was great. And he had no idea it was coming. The whole time he's just like, fuck you, right?
Yeah.
It like blew his mind. I could see he was excited, but it was also sad because he knew he would never be able to beat what she pulled off.
Oh, that's such a weird, like, that's such a sad birthday thing. Like, oh, this is too good and I'm not going to be able to top it.
Because they're pretty competitive with each other about that. Even Yifan and I were like, we're never gonna.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're not gonna be good. This is insane, over the top.
Yeah.
Like she was basically really competitive with him when he did something for her escape room wise once, and so she had to beat that. So she went over it was amazing.
I can't tell if that's cute or insane, but
no, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Okay.
But also because of that, my brain was like thinking, okay, she's gonna do. I just got the sense that she was planning something. Again, the lying, this and that.
That your girlfriend was. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to my front door and Jacob stood there and he's like, are you going to open your door? And I forgot to open my door because my brain was telling me that something was just going to happen.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, yeah. And I even was like looking through the windows going,
yeah,
something's going to freaking happen. And I opened the door and I saw like food kind of on the table. I'm like, yep, here it comes. And then surprise.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It didn't matter. It was amazing either way. I didn't need to be. I loved the attempt. Like the thought literally did count.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that the lie was in my benefit. And then my lie and not revealing that I kind of like I knew was also in the benefit of this whole surprise.
Everybody, big lies.
Everybody was technically lying to each other.
Yeah. Because everyone thinks they're helping the other people. But you're not going to be like, I know you're planning something. Because then it's like, well, then what are we supposed to do now?
Exactly. There was a number of moments where I almost called it out and I didn't. Now, I've been talking for a while. I apologize. I didn't think I was going to tell you all of Jacob's story, but
you're the editor. You're the one who doesn't want to talk as much.
Well, that was the kind of good thing. But the bad story when we talked about, I don't know if have you thought of a bad lie that someone's done?
No, you go.
You still haven't? No?
I don't think I have one.
You making me keep talking?
Well, you have more to say, right? Like,
well, there was a lie once by my best friend. I think I can bring this up from Roman. Maybe it'll come up if ever he comes on our podcast. And this is like long ago. He and I dealt with this. But up to that point, Roman and I were super tight. It always felt like we were super honest with each other about everything. We were totally open with each other to like a higher degree than most people. So I didn't see this coming. And I remembered him asking me like one day too, like, hey man, I've got like, I don't know if it was like he wanted to go on a trip. He asked me if I wanted to go on a portaging trip. Do you know what portaging is?
Yes, I know what portaging is, Josh. It's when you carry a canoe over your head.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like some people
Well,
don't. I didn't
you know
know.
what portaging is, Aya? I went to camp. I had to portage.
Okay, it's not something everybody knows. So
No?
I bet you. I'm willing to bet somebody's listening to this right now. Who went, I
Oh.
didn't know what portaging was.
Well, I think it's like a very Canadian, like I don't know that Americans know. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. That was I don't know. We have a lot of water and canoes, so it just seems like
It's a very physical trip.
Mhm.
And he asked me, "Do you want to go on this portaging trip with me?" And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't really love bugs and stuff, like I'm not so sure I'd want to do that. He's like, okay, I just wanted you to be the first to know.
That he's going portaging.
He's like that I'm planning this trip. And I'm like, cool, okay, whatever. Like,
You're
that's
like, you're
weird.
fucking weird. I don't know why we're still
That's
friends.
no, it's just like he made like a point of saying that to me. And
Yeah.
it was like very strange. And I was like,
Yeah.
cool, you want to go
Yeah.
on a trip? That's fine, whatever. Anyway, a bunch of time passed. I remember I brought up that story to another friend, this girl. Just he brought up, he asked me if I want to go on the portaging trip or whatever. And she goes, "Oh, he told you about that. Okay, good." I was really worried because I always thought it was kind of weird that he was lying. I thought he was lying about it and stuff.
What is happening? Does portaging mean something else to this guy?
No,
Like,
no. And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
What?
He's like, "He told you about that." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah," because he had told us like not to tell you.
Why?
And I'm like, "What? What do you mean us? What's going on?"
Yeah.
So apparently, what had happened was he planned this portaging trip with a bunch of mutual friends and told everyone specifically not to talk to me and not to ask me to go.
Did you know that everyone was going, or you just thought he was going on his own?
No, he even said at the time, I wanted you to be the first to, he said that, like, I want.
So what he lied about was that he told you first. That's so unnecessary.
Well, here's the thing. He planned this thing before he asked me that.
Right.
And I guess what had happened was he realized at some point he had to ask me because I was going to see that he went on a portaging trip with a bunch of mutual friends.
Oh my God.
So he asked this and he was sure for some reason that I was going to say yes. But then I said no and it was no big deal. And he was confused.
Oh, because I'm surprised that you said no to something that involved a bunch of friends doing something together.
Well, he didn't ask me about a bunch of friends at first, but it was the actual act of doing that at the time. I'm thinking like, yeah, it's not really my thing. Now, he had it in his mind, apparently, that I was going to say yes, even though I didn't want to. And then I would be difficult on the trip.
Oh, I could see that.
He had this whole idea in his mind.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But really what my response was, no, man, I'd be pretty difficult on this trip. I don't think I should go.
He didn't expect you to be that self-aware.
Yeah, he didn't expect that. So like he didn't tell me. And then those friends were very frustrated too, because they didn't like lying to me. He got a bunch of other people to lie to me totally unnecessarily about this thing. But what this led to ultimately was,
why'd your best friend lie to you though? That's pretty intense. Yeah,
it was like a thing. And I remember bringing that up. And what ended up happening was, oh my God, I remember talking to him about it. I was trying to figure it out. And eventually, I went over to his place. I remember he showed up. He hadn't slept all night. He was like crying. And he wrote a letter to try to get his thoughts out.
You guys got a real love story going on there.
No, because he felt horrible about it, so much so that he couldn't sleep, all this stuff. He felt bad about lying, but he needed to explain himself.
Yeah.
And there were some, this was the first time I think we discussed some issues. We'd been friends forever, and some things had gone unsaid. Some things he felt maybe he couldn't say. And some resentments or things had built up, and it all came out in this conversation.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. Communication is important in all relationships.
I mean, the communication was good. It was difficult to hear, it was hard for me to hear that I wasn't perfect and all this stuff. Turns out I wasn't.
Oh, is that a surprise?
At the time it was, yeah. I thought our friendship was perfect, actually. I had a lot of pride in that. Just like some people have pride in their families being a perfect unit until they find out some crazy shit's going on. Our friendship is still and was still amazing. It doesn't mean it just had some bumps to work through, some misunderstandings, some differences of personality that did lead to some good, healthy communication in our friendship, growing strong and stronger again.
That's good.
But that was probably one of the biggest lies I weirdly encountered in my life. And it's bigger to me because it was from someone. Right. I mean, I've been cheated on before.
Yeah.
I told you the stories of that before,
That's what I thought was going to be your big lie. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I was lied to about that. I mean, lied by omission, you could say. But for some reason, that isn't as big as this portaging thing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I think the importance of the relationship influenced the importance of the lie. That was my way of summarizing your story. So we told ourselves this would be a regular sized episode, but seems like we might go a little bit longer.
Are you saying that we lied to ourselves about how long this episode would be, Aya?
I think we are often lying to ourselves about how much we have to say about any given
It's true.
topic.
We're like, yeah, we'll finish talking about this within, 50 minutes. And definitely that's a way in which we lie to ourselves.
I mean, you mainly, but yeah.
Oh my God. No. What do you say we stop this episode here and pick it up for next week?
Let's do that. This has been another episode of Adulthood Friends. Thank you for listening, and please follow us on Facebook and whatever podcast app you're using to listen. Also, if you're using Spotify, please click on the individual episode and you'll see either a question or a poll if you want to get more engaged with the podcast.
We love to hear what you have to think.
Yeah, and you
about
can
lying.
About lying or anything else. Feel free to also just message us. That's fine too. Probably you should message Josh because he's better at responding to that kind of thing.
If you're hiding any Jews under your floorboards,
oh my God,
feel free to let us know and we won't tell the authorities.
What?
You haven't seen Inglourious Bastards?
No.
That was a real specific joke.
Great.